So, good morning, NAB. My name's Dan Pisarski. I'm here with Andrew Reich from AWS. I'm CTO with LiveU. We're going to be talking today about some of the tools that AWS makes available in the work that you do on the sports side. So let's just start with introductions. Tell everybody who you are.
Yeah, thanks so much. So I'm Andrew Reich. I'm a senior industry BD in our media, entertainment, games, and sports group at AWS. Been with AWS for a little over 4 years, working primarily with a lot of our media, entertainment, and sports customers on, really taking advantage of cloud solutions and working with partner vendors like LiveU to really optimize their video workflows in the cloud. Prior to AWS, I was with MLB and NHL Network in the media services group. So, sitting on the other side of the coin, I'm really able to help customers and understand their pain points and how can they optimize cloud for their production and video workflows.
And you had a chance to do that just recently with the NHL, I understand. So can you tell us a little bit about what you did with them and what they were using AWS for?
Absolutely. So March 22nd, working closely with the NHL, NHL Network, they produced a game all in the cloud running on AWS, which went live to air. It was the first professional sport league in North America to take a game live to air, all produced in the cloud on AWS. So, AWS's approach to cloud production and, video workflows is we're the infrastructure. So working with partners, enable their software to run properly in the cloud so that, customers and companies and leagues and networks can use the software the same in the cloud that they would on-prem, but also take advantage of some of the new innovation that, softwares have to offer and the flexibility that cloud has to offer.
So what problems was that solving for the NHL by being able to do that entirely in the cloud and be able to take that right to air?
So over the past, I would say even starting in 2021, working closely with the NHL, first to create a encoding and scheduling pipeline running on AWS where they have video feeds and encoders in every venue that's taking their video, running it up through AWS and out through distribution. What that allows is more streamlined distribution for their partners and clients, take advantage of some of the alternate angles around venues and arenas. And what that did was that really allowed for the NHL to understand and get to know AWS for contribution and distribution, running on the cloud in AWS. And when you fast forward 2 years to last year, we really started, they really started leaning into these workflows for production and video to see how they can bring more content to the game and how they can provide different experiences. So, we started with just a match feed production in Seattle where their technical director was in Madison, Wisconsin. Their replay operators were in Canada. Then we went to Australia to do a world feed production and really show them how easy it is to distribute content globally around the world as they look to globalize and grow their sport worldwide. And then we continued by doing some more productions, which led us to the 22nd. And I think really where they see the benefit of the value is, again, the ease and the scalability to create more content. So in addition to the match feed between the Hurricanes and the Capitals, they also produced a alternate feed, a analytics feed, NHL Edge Unlocked. And even though that feed wasn't produced in the cloud, the feeds came in through AWS and the feeds were distributed through AWS, and they have never done that before. So off of the main show, they said, oh, great, we have feeds. Let's do more with it. Let's see what we can do with a different type of broadcast. And I think to bring it back to your initial question, I think it's not as much solving a problem. I think it's how can we bring more content to fans at scale.
So you're really describing there a journey for them where they started with, you kind of mentioned like a code pipeline and then grew from there all the way up to this example where they're doing a full game production in the cloud. What would you say to a new customer that's kind of at the start of that journey? Like, do they have a chance now to fast forward through some of that? And, has the technology really arrived to a point that they can jump ahead to some point in that journey?
Absolutely. The thing is there's so many different ways and places where you can start your journey. I think some customers and some people just, will say, hey, how can I produce a game in the cloud? I think actually, really when you think about it, what the NHL did was they said, all right, let's start by just getting our video in the cloud. And it's there, and then they're now even ahead of others because their video is already in the cloud, and they've already solved for the contribution and the distribution. And so now it's, what other flavor can we now put on top of our video that's running in the cloud? What are the different types of things that we can do and optimize, and understanding the ease of distribution and bringing content to different places? What else can we do? What else can we do with that? Graphics, replay, switching. So I think even just by starting to get your video in the cloud, work with different partners, folks like yourself on just getting video into the cloud, start there, and then understand the technologies, what can be done, and then take it as what you're comfortable with, I would say.
And you were sort of describing that one of the things NHL was able to do is kind of more like reuse the feeds in a different way, scalability that doesn't require a ton of on-prem new hardware and everything. Are you seeing that really what that more adds up to for these customers is the ability to monetize that more, to expand what they're doing with that original production?
Absolutely. I think there's great potential for that, also because now with cloud broadcast, space isn't as much of a requirement as it once was. I think when you think about control rooms or production trucks, it could take months to a year to set that up or commission it or get everything installed. When we did this game on the 22nd, we took a mezzanine space, an NHL network that wasn't really being used. We put in a few folding tables and some monitors, and within under a month, NHL Network was producing a game.
Wow.
So, that cloud control room, we've done POC shadow productions where we've gone into a conference room. We've done, when we did the POC last year, like I mentioned, in Seattle, our technical director was in Madison, Wisconsin, and the game was taking place in Seattle. When you ask him, hey, what was the biggest difference of switching a game in the cloud from on-prem? He said the biggest difference was 20 minutes before the game, I was eating dinner with my family, and 20 minutes after the game, I was asleep. So I think, to your point, the limitations of space, it's not a limit anymore. You can really do this from wherever, and that allows the flexibility to create more content.
And it's something we've had a chance to talk to some other customers about before, not just the limitations of space, but you're kind of bringing up the limitations of personnel. So you can now rely on talent from all around the country, all around the world, not be limited to, hey, my talent's got to be in one location, just happens to be where I have my studio, sort of thing.
Absolutely. And if you think about, that technical director that was in Madison, Wisconsin for a game taking place in Seattle, what's to stop that person from switching a game that's in Florida the next day, or Canada, or anywhere really around the world for that matter, with the services that they can spin up based on region and location? You can really do this wherever, and you look at the benefits of travel, and then that comes into cost savings, obviously sustainability and the impact on there, where you're not traveling as many people and gear to these events. There are really a lot of benefits there.
Absolutely. So you had a chance to come in and attend the SVG event, which takes place right before NAB. This is day 2 of NAB. What have you seen, or what conversation have you had that's been the most interesting so far that you can share, of course?
I would say, it's really cool to see how, I think a year ago people were still wondering, what are the possibilities with cloud and what are the possibilities of production? I mean, it's clear, it's here. I think where the NHL really leaned in and ripped the Band-Aid off and said, we're taking this to air. What that's saying is it's here. And when you look around all the different booths and you see hear the conversations and the technology and all the customers and elite customers at in leagues and prime leagues, it's here, and people are really leaning in, and you can see and just the vibe of different partners, vendors, and the technology that it's not the art of the possible, it's the art of the real, because people are doing it and they're taking it to air, and they're pushing content through AWS and through partners like yourself that it's going to digital platforms, it's going out to fans and consumers. So I think, you're really seeing more and more lean in and get more excited because it's in front of us, and I think more people are embracing it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you for the time today. We really appreciate you joining us here in our booth.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thanks to the audience, and thanks to everybody at NAB.